challenges that we have before us, I categorize those in three distinct areas. First of those areas I'm going to talk about is the fiscal responsibility and the spending restraint. So trying to bring folks for families to come here, live, work, and retire is very, very important. We want that full life cycle of folks to be here. That's the quality of life we all see, and that's what we're working hard to ensure that we keep here in the city. We need to be able to control the taxes here, and that has been something I've been beating on the drum loud and clear, especially with the recent courts project for the 10% tax increase. That's a huge impact all at one time when we're sitting here with 46% living below the poverty level, 9% unemployment, and a whole lot of folks that are just barely getting by. Our investments need to be things that are helping produce additional dollars so that we can grow. If we are spending our money and significant dollars on things that provide no return on investment, that is not a good thing to be doing because the city is a business. The concept I'm hoping to implement is to institute a council financial committee that is made up of experts that are experts in their field of finance, the areas that we need as we look at capital expenditures, complemented with city staff, and in essence bring transparency back into the governmental system. We have a lot of good professional expertise right here in the city, and we go outside time after time after time. Right now, all the decisions on budgets are made up in City Hall. And really nobody knows what's going on line item by line item. So what we're hoping to do is to bring that process out, let people have an opportunity to see how their dollars are spent and have a voice so we can prioritize those. We cannot continue to push our debt ceiling. We are no different than the federal government. If we push the debt ceiling to the point where we finally break it, then we will end up having to revert back to town status if somebody will take us. That's not a guarantee. So we have to be very smart about how we are spending and making sure that we don't take on more debt than what we can accommodate, and that we're smart about what we pick up, and that we're prioritizing. Next item is transparency and ease of access to your government. We want to get folks engaged in telling us what matters to them. At the same time, we want to include folks. We don't want to have folks standing on the outside wondering what's going on the inside. Full disclosure. Prime example was the court session, how we did not do it right. We had closed sessions. The chairman of the ARB, Architectural Review Board, came in council the other evening and specifically said, hey, you didn't bother to talk to us. Well, guess what? A lot of people didn't get talked to. That's not what government's about. We are supposed to be bringing all the stakeholders in, talking to everybody and giving everybody an opportunity to weigh in on what the decision should be. These are your tax dollars. We owe it to you to include you. We had to fight to get a single public hearing out of that process, and that's not right. We need to do better. Citizen Finance Committee would have opened up those doors instead of locking stuff where nobody had an opportunity to see what was going on or have any input. Not right. Open budget process is getting that out in the area so that we can prioritize those areas as the capital projects and things that really do matter to us and the city going forward. Last item is economic and physical revitalization. Education is very, very important. We have to have first top quality, the best in the state, so that we can attract and retain not only the businesses but the families. If the families are going to come here, not only do they need to feel safe, thank you Sheriff and Chief Knight, but they've also got to have a reason, a future. They got to know that their kids are being taken care of, they're getting top quality education. I've met with Superintendent Dr. Melton, and we're working on some issues to ensure that we have the #1 education system, but they were only paying for people that live here. We improve the student-teacher ratios at the same time as we're going forward. Job retention and creation are all part of that education. We can't attract and retain folks here if we're not giving them the best quality education. We can't compete in the markets out here today with technology unless we're offering the best there is out there. You see all the doors closed throughout the city. It's very, very important that we have diversity in the mix of businesses that are coming in. We don't need to be all aligned retail. We need to look hard at that as we go forward. We need a mix so that we don't take the highs and lows as the market swings, and that we're able to survive and hold the revenue lines. Otherwise, we start losing core services. Again, dollars in, no dollars out, and you have to start cutting services if you're not balancing your mix on business. I fight for this every single day. Every contract that comes through the city, it doesn't matter who's doing it. If it's being built in our city, our folks, our businesses, our residents need to have first shot at that as much as possible. Our procurement policies need to reflect that we care about those folks that keep the lights on in the city and keep the services running, because they're the ones that have gone through the same financial hard times. And what are we doing? Finally get an opportunity out of the gate. We're shipping jobs out of the city and not taking care of those businesses that got us through it. We must address it, we must look at it, and we must come up with a new plan. So we do shop in Fredericksburg. We have a lot of zoning opportunities coming on. We need to address our gateways into the community. They need to look state of the art. They need to look historic. We need that forward progress. We need investment. That revitalization is very important to increase the historic draw and tourism to the city. We cannot continue to let our areas run down. The riverfront area, we need to have a destination spot. And I'm not focusing just on the downtown, but we've made a huge investment in land down there. We need to figure out what we're going to do with that area that's going to help draw businesses to the downtown area, because that's where that land is. That's where the businesses are hurting, and we need that attraction for the historic area and tourism and things that are going to draw down there to revitalize that area and pump some money in there. I support the Main Street program, but I do not support it on the backs of the businesses. I have worked with the Commissioner of Revenue and the Treasurer to come up with a brand new reverse B-pole incentive, I call it. Veteran businesses that have been here for numbers of years should get the incentives, not the folks just starting out. Using the tax district, we have an opportunity where we tier a tax incentive give back. In other words, if you've been here for 5 years, maybe you get 25% on growth against your B-pole tax. The idea is the longer you've been here, the more of a deduction on your growth. The businesses need to be self-supporting, and they need to have a vehicle to get there. As I said, I've been working with the Commissioner of Revenue and the Treasurer, and they're on board, and they believe that we can make that work. I pledge to always put the citizens' interest first. I got involved in government for one reason, to make a difference. I'm a businessman, I'm not a politician. When I give you my word, you got it. And my word is to make things better, to use the skills, the leadership that I've learned, the business experience I've got, to do everything in my power to represent the folks out here the way you expect representation. I ask that you trust that my ability to do that, my integrity, my character, and that you get behind me, if you would please, with your support, and most importantly, your vote on May 1st. But thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to represent you, and please, if there's any questions, the floor is open. Thank you.